Hi gang, welcome to Dinah Dares to Plan. I, Dinah Dare, will be taking my skills and experience from my day job in project management and applying them to the world of burlesque and cabaret. We have a special guest with us today, Flint, who apparently wants to get in on the action. Don't jump on that, son. Chubbins! If you are interested in what we're talking about, please do remember to like and subscribe, as I am here for you. So you might be thinking, Dinah, why are you doing goal setting? It's March. Everyone set their goals in January. Like, you're a bit late to the game. But there is method to my madness, as always. Having worked in a corporate environment for more years than I would like to admit, they all do planning quarterly. So every 3 months, there's always, here's what our new goals are. And I've kind of realised over time that applying that to my own life actually makes things a lot easier. So I actually have two types of goals that I like to set. I have goals that are year long. These are recurring things that I can do. So for instance, one of mine this year is to dance once a week for myself. So it's not a rehearsal, it's either putting on some music and improvising or doing a class. And that is a year-long goal because it is a consistent goal that I need to do all the time. I have to kind of consistently show up for myself and make time for that. The goals that I do quarterly are more like one and dones. So they're just something that I have to achieve and then I can tick it off and say, oh, I have done that, fantastic. And the reason I do these quarterly is because it makes them much more achievable. You don't get to the end of the year and go, oh, I didn't do any of them. Doing them every 3 months means that you can assess what is your capacity in the next 3 months. Do you have a lot going on? Do you already have quite a few commitments? What is your brain space in order to actually dedicate time to goals above what you've set yourself as like recurring goals throughout the year? So with it being March, I am looking at the goals that I've already set myself this year, and I am looking at the next 3 months and seeing what I can apply there, and I just thought that I would share that process with you guys. So what I've already done this year, for my first 3 months of the year, I had set myself a couple of goals, and one of them was to secure a booking to perform abroad, not in a festival. And so that sort of became my epic, is what we tend to call it in agile project management. So an epic is like it's the big thing that you're going to achieve, it's the epic. And in order to get there, you break it down into what are all the tasks that you need to do, because getting booked in another country is it feels like a big thing, it's a big task. But if you break it down, like we've done in previous episodes where we've talked about breaking down like a new act, a new costume, if you break it down into tasks that you need to do, it becomes so much more achievable. So for me, with getting booked into another country, I had to think about, right, well, what country am I looking at? What dates am I available for? If I picked a country, I need to pick a city. What kind of work does that city have? I needed to do a lot of sort of research and decision making. And once I had done that, I picked Berlin. I had looked and I had seen the cabaret scene, there's quite a lot there. I knew people who had performed over there through Instagram, so it made my life a bit easier. I got the contact details, I sent them an email with my available dates, and I have managed to secure a booking for August. So I'm going over to Berlin in August. Breaking that down into those steps just made it a lot more achievable and a lot less daunting, and I knew where to start. And I also used Jira, which is another tool that I use quite a lot in my day-to-day job. But you can use Miro, Trello, sort of all the stuff that we've talked about before, or even just writing it down. But I like to break down, this is my epic, here's all the tasks that I need to do to achieve it, and like we talked about before, kind of ticking them off as I achieve those tasks to be like, yeah, I've done that, like one step closer to where I want to be. What I quite like about Jira as well is that you can do a sort of timeline on it, so you can see when do you need to have achieved the tasks by in order to get there. So you can say, I wanted to get a booking in 3 months. Really, I needed to have decided by the end of ideally end of January, middle of February, where I wanted to go in the dates so that I could start to contact people, get that kind of back and forth going that can take time. Also have a backup plan in case I can't get the bookings, all that kind of stuff. So you can set yourself sort of times of, right, I need to finish this here so that I can start this here, if you're sort of doing a piece of work that requires you to have done one thing and then go on to the next. So that's like an example of how I've used it. Looking forward at the next 3 months for me, I am thinking, right, okay, what do I actually have time for? I have a really busy 3 months coming up. My April, May and June has got a lot on already. So I'm already thinking about, right, well, I'm not going to overcommit. So I think for me right now, the only goal that I'm really setting myself for those 3 months is to choreograph and get feedback on my new act. And again, I can break down what I need to do to achieve that epic into tasks. So I need to actually choreograph the act. For me, that means looking at my calendar and marking out, right, when can I rehearse? Booking the studio time so that I actually rehearse, because I feel if I try to rehearse at home, I get distracted. If I book studio time, I will go. I need to book studio time. I need to think about who I actually want the feedback from. So I think that's important, especially if you've watched my feedback episode. I need to contact them, find out when their availability is, agree a date that I will send a video over to them, which means that gives me a solid date as to when I need to have something. And then when, if we're doing like a Zoom call, or if it's just going to be like recorded feedback, when I can expect that. If I set all that up, I've put all the things in place that means that it's almost impossible for me to fail this goal. The only way I could fail this goal is if I literally put myself out of money, because I would have to give up rehearsal space, I would have to give up the feedback that I've already paid for. I put things in place so that it becomes difficult for me to not achieve my goals. As I said at the start, I just find the way of planning every 3 months, it means that I'm much more likely to achieve things. I get that opportunity to kind of tick things off and be like, yeah, I've done it. Instead of getting to the end of the year and reflecting back and being like, oh, I didn't do that goal or that goal because I forgot about it. Because that's the other thing, goals might change, and that's the joy of doing them every 3 months, is that what you thought was achievable in January, by the time it comes to March, for the rest of the year, that something might have changed in your life. The world is a scary place right now, so you might have had to shift your plans based on that. I had plans last year that I was hoping to do this year that have since changed, just because of changing circumstances. So planning every 3 months just allows you to take into consideration changes in circumstances, changes in what you want. I remember a few years ago I had set a goal that I wanted to aerial invert and pull, which is just inverting when you're up pull. And within 3 months I had actually shifted to doing more dance classes in pull. Therefore that skill wasn't as relevant, and therefore I still can't do it, because it just wasn't something important for me to train anymore. So if you're setting your goals every 3 months, you get to refresh. And then you also have those reoccurring goals that are going along throughout the year. Those are just ones that are commitments that you do to yourself. And if you miss a week, it's okay. Like me, I'm dancing every week. For some weeks that's not going to be the case, because I'm not well, or I'm not here, or actually I've got so many other commitments with other things that I just don't have the time. I'd rather sit and play a game. There's just about working out what works for you. I hope that was helpful. If you do have any comments, questions, queries, thoughts, please just message me. I am here for you. I do hope that you liked it. Please do subscribe for our following up episodes, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today.